So I watched the Smiling Friends finale about probably about a day or two after it came out, but I'm finally getting to reviewing it. It was fine. The episodes were fine. They weren't bad by any means, but there's just such funnier episodes that you can rewatch over and over again. And of course, they weren't planning for this to be the finale, but it's very anticlimactic final two episodes. The last two episodes are an episode called Friendbot, where the smiling friends get assigned to go help this guy smile. He's just like a lazy piece of shit that treats his robot like shit, and they decide to take it in. Uh, hijinks ensue. They overuse it. Just it's basically like a kid show episode, which is funny because it's an adult show. Um, anyways, they end up revealing that the robot this whole time was just some lonely guy in a robot suit who wanted friends. So this was his best idea. This was his best idea to get friends. Charlie says over and over again that he got scammed because he wasn't a real robot. But this dude was working overtime. He was doing everything they asked of him. So he wasn't really exactly a scam. Like, sure, he wasn't what he turned out to be, but he still did everything. I wouldn't call it a scam personally. I would say that the whole scam joke goes on a bit too long too. Because it's just Charlie saying, "Oh, we got scammed a bunch of times." Um, then they also reveal that Mr. Boss apparently, at least he claims, he already knew it was a person underneath. Yet he was having the robot work as a sex bot, as a prostitute, which I think that's probably one of the worst things Mr. Boss has done, which is saying a lot. Uh, then the final episode is about Charlie's uncle, who, as far as I remember, was only mentioned in like two episodes. Obviously, he was mentioned in the second episode multiple times in season one with the Mr. Frog episode, but I don't believe he's ever mentioned again after that, at least that I remember. Um, but they treat it like, oh, it's this big thing. We're finally going to meet this character that's been talked about all the time. But honestly, I thought he was just like a funny gag for one episode, not a character that actually needed to show up. Um, and honestly, I still agree with that after seeing his character because his character was just kind of one note. He was just like a piece of shit who was actually testing Charlie to make him like stand up for himself or something, which is a character you see in, once again, like a kids movie or something, and it's just like weird. It feels out of place in Smiling Friends. But I mean, they do add a little bit more to the joke with it being the fact that he's actually a sex offender. So he wasn't doing all these bad things just to help Charlie. Some of the bad things he did just because he's a bad person. Then there's a side plot in this episode with Alan going on a date with a girl. He doesn't really seem all too interested at first, but she starts getting a little bit sexual and flirting with him, so now he's really interested. Which I find odd because there was like an episode where it didn't really seem like he was all too into sex. And, in this season, they've kind of been hinting at the fact that he's bisexual and likes guys or pan something. Like he does like guys too. Maybe he's unlabeled. Just for the last episode we see him in, he just gets with a girl, which I think is kind of weird. I mean, I wasn't looking for representation in Smiling Friends of all shows, but to be like, oh, he's going to flirt with Mr. Boss. He's going to talk about how he finds a guy's penis delicious. Just for the final episode, him to go on a date with a girl just kind of feels like a slap in the face to the fans, in my opinion, even though it didn't personally bother me all too much. It just feels like a really weird decision. Like, we're going to have him start to show that he might swing the other way, and then we're just going to have him go on a date with a girl. Um, anyway, I mean, he did like have like an episode where he dated a girl in season 2, or like he at least had a one night stand with her or something. But anyways, it's also revealed that it's actually like his landlord from season 2, who said he would be back. And they make a joke about how he got a boner from kissing his landlord. So it feels like, honestly, it was just gay jokes for sake of gay jokes, which this show has had before, but they were funny. I didn't find this one funny. Like, the one with Charlie where he meets that one guy and he's flirting with him, and then Charlie gets uncomfortable because he realizes he's flirting with a dude. I found that one funny. But this one, it just wasn't funny. And I didn't even really particularly care for the landlord character coming back. He felt one note. Like, he felt like he was good for that one episode. There's some Smiling Friends characters that you want to see more of, and they're good when you see more of. And then there's some characters that are specifically designed for one episode and one episode only. And I feel like the landlord character was designed for one episode and one episode only, even if they hinted that he was going to come back. Which I guess, if they didn't bring him back, that probably would have been a slap in the face to the fans too. But he just wasn't very interesting to me for a second episode appearance. Like, he was funny in season 2. I don't need him again. All it is just him getting revenge on Alan by making him think he's gonna date a girl and then kissing him. Like, was he expecting Alan to just start playing the video games that he wanted to play with him and drink Mountain Dew and shit? Or whatever he said. It was like he wanted him to drink Mountain Dew, play a PS2 car game. Yeah, it's whatever. The episodes weren't bad by any means. The only episodes that I actively disliked in the show were the president episode and the fucking vacation episode that wasn't actually a vacation. And it wasn't even because it was clickbait. It was just kind of boring. Because, fucking Pim Turns Green. The title's clickbait. Still a good episode. Anyways, it's a okay ending to a 3-season show. Not bad by any means, but very anticlimactic because there's just so many episodes that have rewatchability, and I don't see either of these 2 episodes having rewatchability. There's a few funny jokes in there. They're just not episodes that I would probably rewatch.